Aha, good morning you lot, how's it going? I hope you're all fine, dandy and absolutely brilliant. Let's talk a little bit. I had a comment saying about, obviously this is in the beginner series of Nitro RC, and there was a comment a little while ago, if I put it up if I can find it, and someone was saying, well, in the summer my car the tank of nitro was lasting around about 15 to 20 minutes, but in the winter it seems to be only lasting 10 minutes, and I've tried adjusting the carburetor to tune it so it's as lean as it goes. Perhaps it was too rich, but it's as lean as I can get it to go, and it's still only lasting about 10 minutes. What's wrong? It's using a lot of nitro. Well, the thing is, all engines need more of whatever fuel it is they use in the winter because, well, it's colder. And when an engine is colder and the air it's sucking in is colder, it will need more fuel to ignite it and to burn it optimally. Obviously more air as well, more air and fuel, but more fuel. It needs to be a richer mixture for it to run at its optimum. In the summer, when the air that it's sucking in and the ambient air temperature is warmer, it doesn't need quite as much of that particular fuel. It's perfectly fine running with less of it. It doesn't really matter whether it's diesel, petrol, nitro, or runs on any other fuel. It will be the same. The reason you don't notice it on your real full-size cars is because if it's diesel, it'll be fuel injected anyway and run by a computer. If it's petrol these days, it'll be fuel injected and again run by a computer, and it does that adjustment for you without you knowing it. The computer puts more fuel in those injectors. If you've got an old car or a car with a carburetor, you will notice that you might have to tweak your carburetor on your car a little bit in the winter, or maybe a little bit in the summer. And it's the same with nitro. There's different types of fuel, as we all know, so I'm going to touch briefly on the different types of fuel, but I am going to do a whole dedicated video on the different types of fuel. I'm currently in the process of collecting as many different types of fuel as I can collect so that I can do that video. This is particularly good fuel. I used this a few months, well more than that, years or so ago, and then I stopped using it because, well, it's not made in England. I like the stuff that's made in England. This stuff is made in the UK. This stuff isn't, but it's very good fuel. So I've got another bottle of it to add into my collection so that I can do that video I'm going to do later on. So you've got 25% RTR, slightly more oil, 16% RTR. I've run out of that, but there's the bottle of it anyway. 25% race fuel, slightly less oil in that, because for racing obviously you want it to be as pungent as you can get it, so that's a slightly different blend. And then you've got 30%. I like running the 30% because you get quite a lot of smoke, and that's the only reason I run 30%. And people that say, well, you can't run helicopter fuel in a car, well, let me tell you, my friends, you jolly well can. And I've been running 30% helicopter fuel in my Savage and MP9 for years. The only difference is, well, is it a problem? I wouldn't call it a problem because it's the reason I want to run it. You get a really long smoke trail, and in my opinion, I like that. The only thing is, it will mask the tune in a way. You don't really have to be very good at tuning, which I'm not. I'm just an idiot cock on YouTube that knows nothing. So 30% is perfect for me. All these different types of fuel that you see there, you must excuse, by the way, the mess on the bench. My vacuum cleaner's gone down the toilet without any sort of paddle, and it's now gone well and truly down the creek without any sort of paddle. So my vacuum cleaner, I haven't got a vacuum cleaner anymore. I've been trying to mend it, but you can't buy that part, so we're in big trouble. Back to the topic. your engine, your nitro engine, there's nothing wrong with it if it's using more fuel in the winter. You will find that with experience, you will be able to adjust your carburetor in such a manner that you'll still be able to get it to perform well and use as little fuel as possible in the winter. But it's just the fact. The fact is, the engine will demand and need more fuel in the winter months when it's colder. That is the fact. And you will notice as the weather starts to warm up, as spring comes along and then we go into summer, even if you don't find yourself having to adjust that needle, the carburetor is, in your opinion, fine. Because I rarely adjust it anyway, because I don't really care how it runs, in my opinion, on my cars. I don't care how they run, as long as they're not running in a dangerous way, which is too lean. If it's too lean, then yes, I adjust it. If it goes too rich, I don't care. I just don't care. I can't find the care in me. I've looked everywhere, I just can't find the care. I don't care. If it runs and drives, I'm happy, and that's the way you should be. But you just need to remember, it will use more fuel in the winter and less in the summer. So there we go. That's just the way it is. So just to touch briefly on these different types of fuel, this is 25% by the way. I know it doesn't say on the front there, but it is 25%. They all have different oils in them, castor oils and different blends of oil, different blends of this, different blends of whatever else. Nitro fuel mainly consists of nitromethane, methanol, and some kind of oil, whether it be castor oil or whatever else. Now, the higher percentage of nitro, this one's 30%, 25% race, and obviously 16%, and then 25% again. And I think this one, does it say on it? This one's 25% nitromethane. Doesn't tell you on that label how much oil. Some fuels will tell you how much oil. Now, you can make 0% nitro fuel, which I have made in the past, and when I do the video on the fuels, I will make another batch of 0%. That's primarily just oil and methanol. There's no nitromethane in that at all. In this country, in order to buy nitromethane, you need a license, which I have got. It's just getting the time and getting around and the money to go and buy myself some pure nitromethane. I will be making my own batch of 25%, 16%, 25, 20. I probably do 20 as well, but I was just going to do 16 and 25%. But I might do a batch of 20 because you can buy 20% nitro. So I'm planning on making myself my own batch of each percentage of fuel that you can buy on the market, if that makes any sense. And I will do a whole, it's probably going to be quite a long video, testing on one car, probably an MP9, all the different fuels, and then testing my versions of those fuels. I'm going to use different types of castor oil. I'm going to use two-stroke oil as well, because a lot of you don't know, you can make nitro fuel. It doesn't have to be particular oils. You can just use ordinary two-stroke oil. You can use this stuff. You can use not that's transfer oil. You can use that stuff. You can use that stuff if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be a certain type of oil. So anyway, so if you want to see that, think about sticking around. And if you really want to help me, because people say to me all the time, you can sell this content. Well, I'm not selling it. It's free for you to watch, or ask, maybe think about subscribing, because that's free to you. But if you do want to help me, you can become a channel member, and you'll be helping me out. You'll get to see these videos earlier than anyone else. And what more could you ask for? Absolutely brilliant. So there we go, different types of fuel. And as I said, Your car will use more fuel in the winter. It's the way an engine is. All engines are the same, not just Nitro. You can adjust it a little bit. You can get it to be as efficient as possible, but you won't be able to make it use the same amount of fuel that it would use in the summer. You'll probably be able to get it quite close, but you won't be able to get that 20-minute, half an hour tank in the winter. Thanks for watching, you lot. Take care. Treat people nicely. Treat people how you would like to be treated, and we should have a nice, happy life. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.